Okay, so recent Alteryx survey, I think it highlighted that there's quite a significant disjoint when it comes to the confidence that IT leaders have in their AI and data strategies, and shall we say almost the reality, because the data stacks on which they're potentially relying for this are maybe not quite as as fit for purpose as they think. Is that fair to say?
It is, Phil. I think every business leader that we speak to, and certainly IT organizations and chief information and digital officers, are all thinking about and taking action on data. Understanding that when these leaders and their organizations view data as an asset, it shows that they're investing in their future. And so the opportunity that's in front of every business across every industry of every size is looking to make these investments and make these changes across their own enterprises.
And so, in terms of that sort of disjoint, I suppose the good news is that um, most, if not all, organisations are actually investing in, or how should we call it, modernising their data systems. So
Yes,
that's the sort of good news. Is that right?
that is absolutely correct. Yes. Because they know, actually, according to some research that Alteryx has done, almost a third of businesses are seeing the increasing volume and variety of data as the biggest threat for them, really achieving that culture of analytics and also being able to move along that continuum, not only in analytics, but being able to get into AI. And so businesses know that with that increasing volume of data and the varieties, they've got to make those investments.
And in terms of I suppose, how the organisation organises itself for this strategy, did the survey uncover? I mean, is there a dedicated sort of data function or focus within most organisations, or is it still disparate that each individual kind of department almost has their own approach and therefore it's a bit piecemeal? What's going on?
Um, I will absolutely say that businesses are working diligently to be able to break down those silos. And that's really the responsibility of chief information officers, the digital, excuse me, the digital officers I just referenced, because analytics doesn't happen in a silo anymore. For businesses to truly become data driven, they have to work diligently to break down those silos, to be able to access all of the viable data assets and those resources for the analytics process. But it also is going to take not only breaking down those silos, but it's also about enabling their teams. You have to, as a business leader, you have to be thinking about data literacy, data accountability, and data accessibility across the enterprise. And so business leaders are all thinking about how do we bring these resources together? How do we also upskill our teams? And that's where the role, you've heard me mention it already just a couple of times. Emerging roles include titles like Chief Data Officer, Data Steward, Chief Analytic and Information Officers. These are examples of companies that are thinking about their future and where data across the enterprise is going to play such an important role. And in some recent research that we've done, our research highlighted that 40% of UK businesses have data governance concerns, which are stalling that growth of a data culture, that growth of an analytics driven organization, which is going to stall the AI initiatives and innovation that can happen across these enterprises. And so it's critical for businesses to recognize the importance of being able to curate the data, govern the data, and that's the governance guardrails that we frequently talk about, and also bring the human, or I should say, keep the human in the center of these efforts, because it's these employees that own that data responsibility. And so we've got to keep enabling our teams, upskilling our teams while also investing in data.
Okay, and in terms of the importance of getting the AI plus data strategy spot on, I mean, or is it as simple as if you don't do that, then at some stage, if you're not out of business, you're going to struggle just because other people are doing. I mean, just how mission critical, I guess, is it to get this, AI plus data strategy, up and running?
I think it's important. It is absolutely important for the future of every business. And there was an MIT study done. I'll just give you a little bit of background on that question, Phil, and then dive further into it. But fewer than 10 companies, 10% of companies have generative AI use cases in production. Less than 10% of companies from this survey. But almost 60% of those survey respondents say that they do not have the ability to make changes today in their data environment to support or enable generative AI initiatives. So that says to me, this journey is going to continue for a while because you have to be data literate, you have to be data driven, you have to have made these investments in your tech stack and in your data stack to get to that AI initiative. And so to your question, yes, businesses have to continue on this analytics and data investment journey, because when you make those investments and you invest in your people, in the upskilling and the reskilling of talent, you will very confidently be able to get on your own AI journey. And so that's this continuum that I speak about. And we're seeing businesses take that very, very seriously, because in order for AI to support and help the business grow, you have to have invested in data. You have to have the right data resources available. You've got to be accessing, managing, and maintaining those data. That's all part of that generative AI process. To be able to build those models, you've got to have enough data, you've got to govern those data and ensure that the right data is being used as part of those models.
And I'm wondering, in the sort of the excitement and the rush to sort of get there, do a lot of companies maybe put the cart before the horse in the sense they invest in whether a generative AI solution, try to implement it, and then maybe get pushback from people? So what I'm saying, I guess, is the right place to start with the people, the culture, get people to understand what you're going to try and achieve before you invest, or at least at the same time, so that you don't suddenly, dump on their, not on their desk, but, on their laptop or whatever it is. This is, yeah, and they're kind of going, well, I don't understand, or, whoa, resistance, is this going to take away my role, etc. So just, I suppose, your thoughts as to the right order to get this underway.
Yeah, you bring up a very, very important point, and it's the human, it's the people, it is the current employees. No business leader who is going to be or is being successful with AI is eliminating the human from the process, to your question. Because AI will be successful for any organization with the human as that center element. And I say that because it is the human, it is that employee that's been doing that work, whether it's in finance or marketing or supply chain or HR or across any part of an organization, who's been doing that work. They understand the data, they know the data resources that are available, and they know the data resources that should be used potentially as part of an AI solution. And so, to your question, one of the elements that we see most successful with our clients here at Alteryx is when those leaders open up this discussion around data analytics, data governance, and AI, and make this part of a corporate initiative. It's not something that happens in the back room while IT or data scientists are building, and then, to your question, boom, here it is. It's now part of the organization. that is not going to set a company up for success. Bringing teams in, making this a collaborative initiative for the company, and as the CEO or executive level teams talk about AI as part of the future of the organization, what do we as that organization have to do to be on this journey? And that's where the upskilling of employees, the investment in their skills, that's going to show those employees that the vision of the company is that we are going to continue to grow and move forward, investing in data and investing in them and their skills. And so that success that we're seeing with our customers is that collaborative environment that leaders are talking about this, openly talking about it, and bringing the employees into these discussions, because some of those best AI solutions are going to come from those existing employees saying, there's a better way to do this. Let's collaborate and come up with a solution. That's where success is going to happen for any enterprise.
And in terms of the data literacy part and the upskilling, I mean, clearly a data scientist is probably going to have an IT background, maybe be quite technical, but what is achievable, I suppose, because we're potentially talking about fairly non-technical people getting involved, and clearly they understand their role. So that, as you said, what you just said, they can contribute significantly to ideas around AI. But would, you know, are some of them nervous that they're going to get left behind because they can't necessarily learn the skills to go with, you know, the applications that they're potentially saying this is what we need? Just your thoughts, I suppose, as to, is there a place for everyone within this data literacy pathway?
Yes, and Phil, you're asking a question that I am extremely passionate about, as you can tell, as I keep talking about all the employees. The first step for any business is to increase the power and the skills and the capabilities of their employees. And companies that are investing in data have to incentivize their employees to treat those data as an asset. And the first skill in this data literacy conversation to being able to do that is for every employee, no matter what your level of technical expertise is, it is to let them know that every one of them has the ability, if they so choose to develop these skills, to become data literate. And different degrees of data literacy are going to depend on your job, but every employee has that opportunity. And as a matter of fact, we've started a program at Alteryx called the Alteryx Sparked Education Program, because we know that working with data, to your question, and having those skills and the comfort and confidence to be able to work with data is no longer a job skill for just a few. It is a job skill for everyone. And so we're taking, through our Sparked Education program, we're taking our software and putting it in classrooms. We want educators to be teaching data analytics, data literacy skills now while those students are in their later years of high school, secondary education, as well as in college and internship programs and university programs. Or if you're an independent learner and you want to develop these skills, you may already be out in the workforce, but you want to develop these skills for your current job or for a future career. Our Sparked program is specifically designed to do that. And we've partnered with a company called DataCamp that offers a wealth of data analytics curriculum online, so people have the ability to take these courses at their leisure and develop these digital skills and become data literate or continue to advance their data literacy skills. Because to your point, data is no longer just for IT or just for the data scientist in a corporation, because there's never going to be enough of that talent. Those departments will never be big enough to serve the entire enterprise. And so we have to increase the skill set already going into the marketplace, which is what our Sparked program is doing with DataCamp. And then we also have to have our customers investing in their current employee base to develop these skills, because you're spot on. Data analytics will be powered by the human, by those existing employees. That's the real nugget of gold for every organization. And so we've got to help businesses advance those skills, because every employee has to have that capability to work with data. So when you're in HR, you no longer can settle on, well, we've always done it this way, we'll just keep doing it this way. No, because there's way too much data in the organization, in the case of HR, about your employees, about what they're looking for, about why employees may be leaving, why you may be slow on recruiting. Analytics will help a chief people officer drive deeper insights, as just one example. Happens across every department in every company.
Yeah, and bearing in mind the importance of it, strategic importance. I mean, when you start rolling out your strategy, do you try and do it right across the organization straight away, or often is the case, people choose a particular project, start there, iron out any problems, and then if that works as a template, then start using it elsewhere. What are your thoughts as to the best way of sort of implementing the strategy?
Yeah, you bring up a very good point. And at Alteryx, we know that analytics is across the enterprise and it affects every single group. But the most successful leaders that we've seen will take on a project, and I'll go back to my example that I just had about chief people officers. They may be one of the teams that say we need to improve the way we're working with data, and so they'll start. And then the CFO gets wind of what they're doing, and she says, or he says, how are you doing that? And they talk about, the chief people officer talks about how they've built this culture of analytics within their team. The CFO then says, I need to do the same thing. And it starts to catch fire, so to speak, across an enterprise where businesses understand that analytics is not one silo, it happens across every team. And so as they start to see success, they'll start with a project, with a particular use case, and start to grow the discussions around how are we going to solve this, while at the same time also measuring the potential value or impact to the organization. And quite frequently, we'll have customers that will tell us, well, I started with this one project in HR, and it used to take 4 people on the team about a week. So we'll say 5 days to get through these analytics. We've now taken that 4 people across 5 days, which is essentially 20 working days, and they'll say we've automated the process. We're bringing the data in on a nightly basis. It's getting refreshed, and the report is available every morning at 8 a.m. in my inbox. So they went from 20 days of work, literally, down to 20 seconds of running this report and emailing it to the team that needs it. That's the value, that's the impact of analytics. And so when business leaders hear that, if the chief people officer has that kind of success, the chief marketing officer wants to know, the chief financial officer wants to know, supply chain wants to know, IT wants to know, because every business, every team is trying to solve those kinds of problems. And so we often will talk about, let's pick a problem, let's estimate the value or the impact to automating this and building this in an automated fashion. What's going to be the impact to the business? Then they do it, and they see these results, and they say, do you understand that by mitigating this risk on employee loss of employee, this is huge impact to the business? And they're then able to quantify that potentially in dollars or time or risk mitigation to the business. That's when that expansion starts to happen across the enterprise. That's success.
And in terms of what it is yourselves, where does Alteryx fit within this landscape of AI and data? What is it you bring to the party, if you like?
Absolutely. When you hear or think about Alteryx, Alteryx is a leading provider of AI and data analytic capabilities for the enterprise. We are serving and focusing on the development and automation of data and analytic processes that turn raw data, that may be siloed data, into powerful business insights and outcomes driving value for the business. The Alteryx AI platform for the enterprise provides a single unified platform to any organization to be able to manage their data and the analytics and the automation of those analytics that drive intelligent decisions across every team in the organization. And underpinning our technology platform is a set of innovations that make robust data analytics easy in a drag and drop, code-free or code-friendly interface. Because to your question, Phil, we see the exact same thing to the question you asked earlier about analytics for all. We see everyone in the organization should be able to work with data. So our technology platform serves both the code-free user as well as that code-friendly user.
And in terms of I mean, you say everyone within in an organization, it's relevant, but is it also relevant to every organization, industry wise and size? I mean, I can imagine a lot of SMEs, certainly, the S's rather than the mediums, maybe, might just think, well, we're too small, we're not going to get a lot of value, and it's going to cost us a lot of money, so we'll carry on. We know our customer base. What would you say to the folks that think, they can perhaps ignore it, or they just don't think it's maybe relevant to them?
I will tell any small, medium, enterprise size business, we are serving literally all stages, all sizes of businesses with our technology and capabilities, because being a data-driven organization and driving data insights isn't driven by the size of your company. By making these investments early in your development, if you are a small business, making these investments early allow you to build that culture early in the business. And it also gives you the value and the impact that enterprise size organizations see. So whether you're a large global financial institution or a global manufacturer or a telecommunications company, or a small business organization, maybe a consulting practice, when you are data driven, you're going to be able to drive richer insights for the business and potentially save significant dollars, or be able to make smarter business decisions quicker.
And maybe just finally as well, I mean, you sort of read the headlines in the tech press or online, whatever, you get the impression that everyone's kind of already doing all this stuff, and therefore maybe if you haven't, you kind of miss the opportunity. But I think at the start of it, I think you said maybe it's only 10%. So can you just maybe reassure people that it's not too late? People might think, oh, we've missed this one, but it's not too late to really grasp this potential opportunity and go forward with it.
Oh, absolutely, Phil. It is never too late to get on this journey. Every business that we speak to is at different stages. In fact, I'll share just a quick stat about a study that Forrester has done with Alteryx and the International Institute of Analytics, the IIA. It's called the Analytics Maturity Curve. It's a study of about 2,000 organizations globally across multiple industries, where these businesses are reporting on where they are on their analytics journey. Today, literally today, the average score on a scale of 1 to 5 of every business that's surveyed is a 2.2. So that tells me that there is a lot of room for every business to get on this analytics journey. It's never too late. And those businesses that are already on this journey want to be able to move from a 2.2 to a 3.2 to a 4.2 and eventually get to a 5. And so every business should be thinking now about how they're going to do this and how they're going to invest in their teams to be able to develop the right skills to be analytics driven and bringing AI solutions into their own organizations.
Okay, and finally, I promise, because you've given me plenty of your time, in terms of how an organization identifies a partner such as yourselves, what are the sort of questions they should ask, and maybe, even what are the sort of answers they should get to make sure they're identifying someone who understands what we've talked about, that it's not just, here's a product, go away and use it, job done, how they'll help you on the journey, if you like. What sort of things should people look out for when they're searching for a partner?
Yeah, I would say in looking for a partner, think about a partner that is taking a step back and not just trying to sell you software, but is actually helping you look at your business, at your current landscape, looking at your current structure of business, as well as the current infrastructure on data assets and the accessibility of those data assets. And then that partner should also be able to assess where your people are, your employees are on that journey. And then the third element that a good partner will ask about is, what is the executive level vision and sponsorship for this change to the business or this improvement in the business? Because you have to have that executive level support and vision supporting this change for any organization. So look for those elements within your partners as you're thinking about your own analytics journey.
Okay, it's been lovely to chat, and some brilliant information and knowledge shared about the AI data journey. So I really appreciate your time, Olivia. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil, very much.